talk about innovation in aviation, there's probably nowhere else I'd rather be right now than with Boom Supersonic. This is a program that's coming along, moving on year by year, and I'm joined now by Blake Scholl, the CEO and founder of Boom Supersonic. Great to be back with you again. So tell us, we've got a completely different looking aircraft to the one we saw 4 years ago at Farnborough.
Yes, well, actually, the engineering designs that we've been looking at publicly that many people have grown to love are actually 5-year-old engineering. And since then, we've been iterating. 26 million core hours of simulation, over 50 major design iterations on the airplane, looking to be not just fast, but also safe, quiet, sustainable. And so everything we've learned has now gotten us ready for the production Overture design, which is a beautifully refined machine.
So 4 engines now instead of 2, which seems a bit odd compared to everything else that's happening in civil aviation that's trying to lose 4-engined aircraft for sustainable reasons. Is this working better for you then, and why are you doing it?
So on supersonic flight, we do encounter more drag, and we need thrust to balance that drag. And so we found that moving to a 4-engine design allows us to achieve that speed, while also staying within the manufacturing limits of what engine makers are capable of producing today. So the engines are really defined by the goals of speed and quiet, but also looking very deeply at the supply chain and making sure we have picked an engine which will be manufacturable and maintainable.
So the question that, of course, everybody's asking, you talk about sustainability. What are you going to be doing with it? I mean, sustainable fuels, I know, was on your agenda. So how are we looking on that side?
Well, let's start with why. Many people, when they talk about sustainability, they say maybe we need to travel less. And at Boom, we believe the exact opposite. We believe life happens in person, that there are incredible benefits from being in the same room with other people, whether we're traveling for business or for leisure. And so we want to enable more travel. And how do we do that? Well, we have to make not just a little bit of progress in sustainability, but we have to completely remove the barrier of sustainability for travel. So we challenge ourselves to go to a net zero design. How do we do that? By building around support for 100% sustainable aviation fuel, not needing any blends or additives. That allows the airplane to fly not just faster, but at net zero carbon and lower non-CO2 emissions. And we're building this not just into the airplane, but in our customer relationships. When United Airlines ordered 15 Overtures last year, they publicly committed to operate the aircraft net zero. And what you're going to see is that becomes a feature of every customer announcement we have, doing net zero not in 2050, but in 2030.
And that's what I want to ask you about, the customers, really. You're getting the interest now that you hoped for.
Yes, we're starting to hear from airlines, if our competition has this, then we better have it too. There's building momentum, and I'm looking forward to an additional airline announcement actually in the pretty near future.
Great. Now, we talk about passenger experience a lot. Just tell us about the cabin, of what's happening there, how many seats you've got there, and what's it going to be like flying and where you're going?
Well, let's remember first what it's like to fly today. It's stressful, getting through the airport, getting through security, getting on the airplane. It's often a loud environment. We worry about where our bag goes. It's a stressful environment end to end. And when we step on board Overture, we have an incredible focus on creating an experience that's comfortable, tranquil, supports well-being. So we want passengers to feel different the moment they board the airplane. And when they step off, we want them to feel better than when they stepped on. So what does that mean? It means a large, expansive cabin, stepping onto the aircraft, actually at the largest component, an expansive, beautifully designed interior, 65 seats in the aircraft, all business class. Every seat is either a window seat or an aisle seat, some are both. And we think it's going to be an incredible experience, one of the best experiences in the sky.
Now, when we first spoke, when you first had the idea of the project, you talked about an ambition of being able to fly an all-business class aircraft at current or same as the business class on a traditional airliner. Is that still the case?
Yes, it's absolutely still the case. Now, our ultimate goal is to bring supersonic flight to everyone who flies, to make the fastest flight also the most affordable. It's going to take us a few generations of aircraft to get there, but Overture 1 starts as an all-business class experience with fares that are not that different from what people would pay in business class today, yet profitable for airlines and hundreds of routes around the planet.
It sounds fantastic. And when are you going to fly?
We're looking forward to the first start of the flight test campaign in early 2026, and then we've allowed ourselves 4 years to get through exhaustive safety testing and certification so we can have certification, deliveries, and welcome our first passengers before the end of the decade in 2029.
So 2029, I'm going to New York in less than 3.5 hours. How's that?